another cruise. Today we've got 6 locks to do. We're just leaving Church Lawton and we've got 6 locks to do, and our destination today hopefully is Road Heath. And as always, Tony and Jan are now with us. They're taking the lead this time, and we're going to follow up. And it's a cold grey day today. Strong winds and rain are forecast for tonight, so we're going to move on and get ourselves settled. And there's a pub at the end of the cruise.
This week sees us located on the Trent and Mersey, making our way northwards towards the Middlewich Junction. On leaving our mooring at Church Lawton, we began our descent of the church locks and the hall locks before stopping in Road Heath opposite the Broughton Arms. Having spent a couple of nights moored opposite the pub and enjoying a meal in the pub, we then continued our journeys down the Thurwood locks, the Pierpoint locks and the Wheel locks until finally mooring up just after Wheel Lock because the moorings were full.
Well, we're off to do the first lock of the day. Jan's up there somewhere, Smudge is in the middle of us, and the boys are following. Steve's behind today. Well, this is the other part of the lock. I don't know which number it is. Don't know whether you can see, but although it's just used, they've got brackets, iron poles going across to obviously keep the sides in. And there's Tony coming into the lock. Well, that was a crossover bridge, so the towpath changed sides. So Steve's come out of that side and going into this side open lock.
Yeah. Road Heath is the plan. Yeah. So we're into lock 2 now. You getting on, are you? You can just see in the distance there on top of the hill, that's Mal Cop. First time we've actually been able to see it clearly. Well, of course, one of the drawbacks of duplicate locks like these is when there is only one single lock after a duplicate pair, there's a bit of a hold up. Tony and Jan have literally only just left the lock ahead of us, which is a single lock. We've just come out the duplicate pair behind us there, and we're having to wait for them now, whereas we could have gone in to the secondary lock. So if they'd have come out of that lock, say, we could have come out of that lock. But obviously now with just the one in front of us, we're going to have to wait for them. Never mind, that's what it's all about. We're now moored up in Road Heath by the pub there. A lovely mooring here. I'm going to stay here now for the next day or two. We've got a fabulous field here, which will be perfect to let Smudge have a good run, what have you. But I believe bad weather's coming in, because just look at those clouds. They are real angry, storm looking clouds, those. And you can see the weather front just behind them. So, not looking good at the moment. Hunker down, I think. So, we've been here at Road Heath now for a couple of nights. It's time to move on. The rainy weather is now gone and we're getting ready to set off. Tony and Jen in the lead, and our first lock a couple of 100 yards down the way. Currently waiting now at the top of the Thurwood locks. This is lock 53 and Tony's gone down, but there is a boat coming up. So we're just holding station now, let that boat come up and then we can proceed. It's generally a good thing when there's a boat coming up because it puts the lock in our favour. So we can go straight in. However, the drawback is it takes twice as long to get through the lock because you have to wait for the other boat coming up and you have to fill slowly. So we've been here a little while now, but we'll just sit and wait, and it's not a problem. It's all part of working the locks. I think I mentioned it on the vlog last time we come through. I love these little cottages, absolutely gorgeous. Now at lock 54, and this is a duplicate set of locks, but on this particular lock, the left hand lock has a notice on it saying that it's narrow, and it does look a bit narrow compared to the other one, I have to confess. So we're going to take the right hand one because that's the standard width one. AmyJo has gone down the other one, but I feel happier avoiding it. Well, the next lock is a couple of boat lengths ahead, and Tony's actually in that lock at the moment, so I'm going to sit in this lock hole, as they call it, and just wait until Chris has got the lock ready for me to go in. But Beautiful old bridge here, bridge 43 this is. I love the fact that they use standard brick and then topped it off with that nice blue-grey brick. I bet in its day, and it looks like it was painted white at one point, I bet in its day that looked a lovely bridge. And the familiar rope slots on the metal strip there shows the fact that this was a busy lock. I mean, this is low already, isn't it? Gonna have to be a bit sharpish with this. I'll have to be a bit sharp doing this one. It's low already. Yeah. Trouble is, I've set the camera up down there. I do. And up ahead is the busy M6, as busy as ever. Now going under the M6. So I think that's about 5 locks done out of the 14. We're getting there slowly. But I tell you what, I'm sure glad I'm down here and not up there. So it would appear even more of the locks, duplicate locks, are falling foul of poor maintenance. And the next 2 locks ahead, we've been informed by Tony, only the starboard or right hand side pair of the pair are working. the left-hand ones are not in use. So yet more locks falling into disrepair. Lock 62, lovely place there, beautifully kept, just absolutely gorgeous. And a case of another lock been abandoned, this one for quite a while by the look of it. There's a little arm just here, and I thought that was Tony and Jan moored up in there at first. This is the site of a chemical works apparently, and this arm I guess would have been used to load the boats and unload them. As you can see, there are a few historical boats down there even now. Well, certainly different flower pots, that's for sure. Does make me wonder how they managed to acquire them though. So lock 65. So lock 65, hopefully the penultimate lock for us. One more to do and then we're into wheelock. We'll see how that works.
Now at this point, while waiting in the lock, I discovered that the battery had gone in my little radio mic. They normally last 7 hours, so I was quite surprised that this had run out. So I ended up changing for the secondary mic that comes with the set. Unbeknown to me though, I was actually recording at the time, and you can see where I hide the mic and the struggle I have to get it there.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
It's then a little bit of housework to tidy up the cruising book, and then it's ready to leave the lock. On exiting the lock, I still hadn't realised that the phone was recording the video. It wasn't until I went to move the phone to record Chris coming down the steps that I spotted it was actually recording. On arrival at the wheel lock visitor moorings, we found the moorings full, but as you can see, the boats that were there were well spaced out, with spaces too small between them to fit AmyJo or the boat, so we had no choice but to continue on round to the water point. Now that changed at the water point, because as we approached it, this boat was actually pulling off and getting underway, so we managed to slip in behind it and fill the tank.
we've managed to pull onto the surfaces here at wheel lock, and we are now currently filling with water. Looks like Tony and Jan have gone on ahead, so we'll see where we can catch up and find them.
Join us next week as we continue our cruise down Heartbreak Hill on the Trent and Mersey Canal and end up near Middlewich. In the meantime, stay safe, look after yourselves, and we'll see you next time on Life on Board AmyJo. Bye.